TNN TV proudly presents.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars.
Good evening, America. My name is Glenn Beck, and I'm here in Nashville, Tennessee, talking to the ambassador to the United Nations, Samantha Power. Good night, Mrs. Power. So, what we've seen from the first positions in the new talks about all the nuclear disarmament, how can America stand there, let themselves call imperialist pigs by North Korea and not react? I mean, you remain silent in the room when North Korea called you and called us as a nation pigs.
Well, it's important to understand that the assembly that we were at, it wasn't really a place to start a conflict. And their comments, frankly, by now, it's not something you should react to in that in that area, but we would like to make our actions in the negotiations speak for themselves, and we wouldn't want to cause an incident, no matter what the provocation might have been. We'd like to state that we're not that easily provoked as a nation, and we will let our actions in the negotiations speak for us.
Yeah, but isn't it time to stop negotiating with a country that is reluctant to any sort of change and that remains a serious threat for our friends in South Korea?
Well, that's the whole point of these negotiations. That's what we're hoping to achieve. It's the first day. Frankly, it's expected that there will be provocations from the states that the United States so strongly criticizes. And we shouldn't, on the first day, we should not give into such provocations. But that's not to say that our stance won't be tough and that we won't stand by the principles that the United States depends on and defends.
All right. So, changing from North Korea to the second important country, which is even more important for the U.S. as it's a threat to one of our closest friends, which is Israel. Do you believe that Iran can change with the new President Rouhani, or is it basically the same that went on under Ahmadinejad, threatening Israel and just, trying to calm it for now and then start over again in, let's say, a few months?
Well, that's what these negotiations are hoping to make clear.
But do you as a person trust them?
I think they have good intentions, and I think that the new president, I think the President Rouhani, has shown goodwill so far, but we obviously, I and the president as well, we remain skeptic about the whole situation, and they will have to prove their good intentions in the weeks to come. It's not, we are willing to accept that they might want to take steps forward, but we're still waiting for them to prove their good intentions to us. We're not just ready to say, we're ready to accept that you have changed and you've done a 180 turn. We're waiting for proof.
Will the president start supporting Israel again, finally, after 5 years of actually abandoning the friendship?
The U.S. has always supported Israel, and while diplomatic...
I would doubt that.
You may doubt that, but while diplomatic relations have been difficult over the last couple of years, it's always been our firm stance to support Israel, and we will continue to do so, even if we may be a bit more critical of their policies. But it's always been our firm stance to support Israel, and we won't give up on that.
Okay, one last question concerning the general foreign policy, which has been a weakness of the president in general. I mean, America has not been strong by any mean during the last 5 years. The president is just weak on the international ground. Do you think that's going to be improving?
Well, I don't think you can say that our foreign policy has been weak. We've continued the wars that President Bush has started, and we've tried to bring peace to plenty of regions, and we've tried to do that in the Middle East as well. The United States, just because we haven't gone out and started an all-out war, does not mean we have been weak. It just means that we are trying to exhaust every other option that we have before starting on military options.
Okay, well, I'm highly doubting that, but as you're a government officer, I don't think you will say anything against the president. Ms. Powers, I thank you for the interview. Good night. Fellow Americans, good night from Nashville, Tennessee. I'm Glenn Beck, and you are watching TNN.